Season 3 of Lost was an all-timer, one for the history books, despite what some people might be saying in my comments about the writer's strike, and they thought the first part of the season was blundering and poor. Forget about it. That first part, the first 9 episodes or whatever, the prison escape period, was the best part of the show thus far. Okay, I'm gonna die on that hill. Season 1, Season 2, this arc in Season 3 tops. I don't care about a writer's strike, whatever effect that you think that had. I don't care. Don't come at me in the comments. That was amazing. But Season 3 did have one of those little weaker episodes. I still enjoyed it, but it was filler, and that was the Nikki and Paulo episode. And I found it so funny that these two get buried alive at the end of the episode. Nobody realizes that they've been poisoned and paralyzed, but not killed. They get buried, sand all over the top of them, and we realize that they're alive just at the end. I think we see the sand move or something like that, and it almost, apart from one moment, never gets addressed again in the show. It happens late in Season 3. We have several more episodes. I thought it would get mentioned right after. Several more episodes in Season 3. We got Season 4, Season 5, Season 6. They introduced Nikki and Paulo in Season 3. They intentionally kept the remaining passengers anonymous, so that at any one moment they could bring someone in. Like they brought in Arst or Arts or whatever his name was in late Season 1. So whenever they feel like it, the showrunners can cast whoever they want and make them a more prominent figure. They did that for Nikki and Paulo. We had their little heist episode and their backstory and Sawyer getting blamed and whatever, all that kind of stuff. And the only time that them getting buried alive gets mentioned, and I thought they were going to be rescued. The only time it gets mentioned is by Hurley, way later. I don't remember at what point in the show. And he mentions, oh yeah, when Nikki and Paulo got buried alive. So I'm wondering, how do they find that out? Did Nikki and Paulo just die and they got buried alive? Because that's what it sounded like. It sounded like they're dead. They got buried alive. We messed up. How would you know? Anyways, this is not a criticism of Lost, really. It was just one of the funny twists that sort of never got really resolved. They just died and that was it. I've seen people online say, oh, we never found out about the polar bears. No, we kind of did. Right? They were in those cages that the others kept Kate and Sawyer in because the Dharma Initiative were doing experiments and they had them brought over. And we hear the lead guy, the Dharma guy who does all the videos, mentioned to Hurley later on the show as a threat, you don't want to be dealing with those polar bears, I'll send you over to deal with their poop or something like that. That gets kind of resolved. Okay, guys, let's not start picking little things. Oh, what mode of transport did they use to bring the polar bears there? What exactly were they doing? Nobody cares. We figured out how it happened. That was resolved. As were most things, okay? When I make my video about the Season 6 finale, whatever, which was incredible, I'm going to mention that because some of the criticisms are lousy, stupid, ridiculous. Anyways, I don't want to get into a rant. Nikki and Paulo, what a weird little episode.